The price of bread has increased. The price of all these commodities has increased. So that means that I've had to reduce the quantity I eat. If I used to eat 2 times daily, I've had to reduce it to 1 time daily, which is not very good for my health.
The impact of the cost of living crisis reverberates across the UK, yet certain communities bear a disproportionate burden of escalating expenses. Among those hardest hits are African immigrants. Research exposes a stark reality.
The cost of living crisis, it was something that came to me as a shock, something that I guess I didn't expect. I had a feeling after COVID that things probably will not be as easy, but I think it's much tougher than what I expected or preempted. So my name is Joanna. I'm currently working within the hospital as a dietitian. I'm based in Stoke-on-Trent, which is located in the Midlands. Variety of areas in my life. So one of them being my rent was increased, and that went up by an extra £100. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but when your pay isn't increased to match that, it actually starts to add up. Also, my car insurance went up as well. Again, the premiums for that, so I normally pay annually, that went up by an extra £200. Also, a lot of my bills and utilities, so for example, my council tax, my water, my electricity, all of those shot right up as well. Things like my phone bill as well went from about £20 to about £30, so again an extra £10. But all these increases rose up whilst my salary basically didn't rise. So I have looked into what I can do to earn or supplement my income a little bit. So one of the things I did earlier this year was to actually take on a second part-time job to help support with my income and to ensure I was able to make ends meet, basically. And other things I've done, there are certain websites where you can earn a bit of cash for just answering some questions and some surveys, but it's not all that much, you know. It doesn't pay that well, and it's probably, you know, it's not as it's not sustainable, because you never know when you're going to get, you know, another survey or question and things to answer. In terms of my second job that I took on, again, because that was from an agency, again, that wasn't very sustainable because I was tired from working my full-time job, and also because it was an agency, you weren't always guaranteed work. So again, it has been a struggle.
My name is Olufemi Kushimo. I am a master's student at the Greater Manchester Business School, University of Bolton. I'm doing a master's in international business management. It's a well-known fact that the cost of living crisis has been happening for a while now, and I won't mince words, it has affected me negatively. The sight of it was a bit disgusting too. Now I'm looking for another place. I'm looking for a better place, but it's expensive. When I was searching on Zoopla and some of these websites, a one-bedroom apartment in Bolton was costing £900. Some a little above 1,000. Some of these places are not even furnished. Some of them are not even bills inclusive. And
it's just sad because for most of us we had high expectations when we were coming. Now, okay, wanted to get something better.
I've discovered that house hunting here is not an easy task. It's a very difficult and challenging task. So, going from one house or one apartment to the other, sometimes you go for viewing and then later you're told that the landlord has decided to give the apartment to someone else. So, of course, in a situation like this, when the cost of living goes up, a coping strategy is to try to increase income. And then for an international student like me, one of the ways to increase income is trying to juggle jobs here and there, especially now that I've put in my dissertation and I can now work. Due to the cost of living crisis, it means that the prices of goods, commodities, and services has increased. An example of how much I cut my hair. So when I got into the UK last year, I was cutting my hair for £10. Some months after, I became £12.50. Now, it is £15. So that means a £5 increase in the last 1 year from £10 to £15, which is about 30 or 40% increase. And that's how it has been. I won't blame the barber who has increased his fare, because the amount he pays for his electricity bill has gone up. The amount he pays for rent has probably gone up as well. So one way or the other, the amount he would charge for, cutting my hair would also go up.
Chief Mrs. Adenike Ayola, the president of Egba United Society in Manchester, and a board member, the treasurer of the Board of Trustees of NASFAT Manchester. It is really impacting on the African community because we form the minority group in UK. And why did I say that? Some of us are here, some have no recourse to public fund, which means they cannot benefit from any government benefit or whatever government improvise to support members of the community. During this high cost of living, we have noticed the impact of this on our members, some struggling to make ends meet. So what have we done to address this? We find out about the Nurturing Food Bank in Manchester and we liaise with them. We introduce our members. They go there with £1 every Thursday. Within 5 and 7 p.m., they can buy food for their family, which is very, very beneficial and supportive to them.
My name is Bilal Ahmed, and the main reason why we've got a food bank now is because of the cost of living crisis. Also, our soup kitchens, they're actually run because of the actual, because of the cost of living crisis, and it's having a major effect on a lot of people. A lot of people are in debt at the moment, or they owe money, whatever reason it is, or whatever poor choices they might have made, they use our services. And I've seen a lot of people from Africa and different areas, a lot of people from Africa, and many of them I've actually dealt with over the last few weeks.
My name is Irene, I'm from Congo. It's for everyone is affecting me, but for me, everything is expensive because I'm alone here, so to afford the rent, to afford the food, even everything is expensive. The gas, the council tax, rent, electricity, water, it's many things.
A lot of it, you can see we have ring pull, and they're very easy to put together and use very minimal gas, electric. Some of it you can eat straight out of the tin because a lot of people can't afford the gas, electric.
I can say that almost everything has gone up by a cent.
My name is Falake Adidayo. I live here in West Horton with my family, my husband and my teenage daughter. My understanding of the cost of living crisis comes from my own lived experience, which is that things are more expensive. Everything is more expensive. The way we've been impacted is that makes it a bit more difficult to save. And one of our coping strategies has been substituting brands, also explore charity stores for things that can be, charity shops for things that can be reasonably bought there. I'm aware that some other people have felt more pressure. Some other people might have struggled more. In the last couple of weeks, I've had some very painful, very difficult to hear stories about Africans committing suicide because of the pressure that they have felt from all that's been happening to their finances, pressure from people back home needing to be supported and they not being able to provide for themselves here, talk less of being able to provide for people back at home. Yes, I have at least 2 suicide cases that are quite close to home.
In terms of making remittances home, I mean, the cost of living, the high cost of living in the UK currently has made it a lot more difficult to send funds home. I mean, if I was able to do, for the sake of argument, able to do £100 on a monthly basis, now it's had to go back to maybe about £50. Why? Because that difference, I would need to use that to cover the high cost of living that I'm dealing with in the UK. And so, yeah, it's really affected it negatively, unfortunately.
It's something that is normal for humanity to look at who you can assist, So there are people that normally I send money to them back at home, But now I've had to cut down on some, I've had to reduce some of them, and for some I've had to stop it entirely, which is not my fault.
It's in fact the situation there is I know I said I was going to send money though, and I'm very sorry, but the situation is so unbearable. I might even have to relocate. It's so bad. The cost of living crisis is affecting everything. Cost of food items have gone up. Cost of accommodation has gone up. To even get an accommodation is a problem. So I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe subsequent months.
And of course, remittances from the UK and from some other Western countries into Africa are huge factors to the performance of African economy. We complain all the time of foreign exchange. Currently Nigeria is facing high inflation because we do not have dollars, and it's affecting our economy, it's affecting fuel prices and so many other things. So cash flow from these countries, from the UK specifically, helps to improve our economy, and also in return improves the lives of people, improves families, and all of this.
With each policy that comes out, a little bit makes lives a little bit more difficult to live. And I just think that they should be able to maybe pay more attention to this community that supports this economy, and just be a bit more lenient.
The United Kingdom claims to be a place where inclusion, diversity, and equality is, promoted. But the question is, I hope we are not just paying lip service to this. So I think there's so much more the government can do.
And the UK system, the UK government can do more to protect Africans more, to allow them have more access to systems that can aid their living conditions in that country.